Hi, I'm Tony Knight, and I'm going to walk you through how to use QromaFlip for iPhone. We're going to start by doing a basic capture and tag, then I'm going to show you how to use the Metadata Editor, and finally we're going to take a look at some of our advanced features. The first thing you'll probably notice when you launch the app for the first time is that you'll be asked to grant the app permission to use a number of system services. Now, some of them are obvious for a scanning application, but some are not, so I'll go over them first. So the camera permission is so that we can access your camera so that we can scan your photos. The location permission is required so that we can use the map interface, which we use to allow you to tag your photos to specific places. We never actually use your location data at all, and nothing is being transmitted to us. We ask to use your microphone and the built-in speech recognition engine so that we can use voice recognition to help you tag your photos using natural language descriptions. We don't store the audio that is recognized, and nothing gets sent back to our servers. Our first step is to turn on Cloud Sync through this settings panel. QromaFlip supports either iCloud Drive or Dropbox, and we use these services to make it easy for you to get instant access to the multi-page TIFFs you will create, but it also gives us a quick way to modify some system settings. In this case, I'm going to use iCloud Drive. If you turn this on and you're a Windows user, make sure to download the iCloud software for Windows from Apple's website. Now we're ready to start capturing images, which starts by tapping onto this plus icon. QromaFlip is designed to look for rectangularly shaped objects such as your photos and will draw a green box around them when it finds one. Try to place your photos on a static background and avoid any strong overhead lights that may cause a glare. When the box is around the image, tap onto this red capture button. Now, don't worry if the photo isn't perfectly cropped because we're going to fix it in the next step. From this screen, I can drag around these corners to get a perfect crop. Now this one looks pretty good, so I'm just going to tap Next. Now I'm going to flip the image over and repeat the process. Now, because the back of this card is similar in color to my table, I'm going to check the corners to make sure I got a good crop. Once this is done, I'm going to be taken to this tagging screen. Now, if I want to, I can just tap the Save button and I'll get a really nice high-quality multi-page TIFF, but there won't be any metadata tags embedded into it, so it might be hard to find it years from now. What I'm going to do is use QromaFlip's voice recognition engine to describe where and when this photo was sent, and that description will be embedded into my image. I start by tapping onto this microphone icon. This dialog appears and I give a brief description. Now, I try to describe the photo using the date, the location, and the people that are in the photo. When I'm done, QromaFlip detects the pause in my voice and tries to recognize the text. So here's the text that QromaFlip recognized and embedded as a description. We were also able to detect the date and the location inside the description and created the metadata tags automatically. Now all I have to do is tap onto Save to store this as a multi-page TIFF on my phone and send it to my cloud provider. So there it is. If I swipe up and down, I can see both pages. Now, since I have iCloud turned on, I can see this image almost immediately on my computer by going to the iCloud Drive folder, then opening up the Images folder in the QromaFlip directory. Here is the image with all of the searchable metadata embedded into it. So that's really it. In a minute or so, you can make a multi-page TIFF just like this one and preserve both sides of your photos. QromaFlip has a built-in metadata editor that can help add or edit any metadata in the TIFF files it creates. You can use this if you need to add a person's name or fine-tune the location where the photo is taken. The way to get to it is by tapping onto an image and then tapping onto this tag icon. From here, I can simply tap onto any field to correct it, but there are some time-saving features built in that will help you limit the amount of typing you have to do. First, if you have pre-stored names, and we'll get to how to do this in the next lesson, you can simply tap on this person icon and then select the person that you want to add from this list, and then tap Add. You can also just type in a name with a keyboard, but remember to separate each person's name with a comma. If you need to change the date, just tap onto this field and a special dialog will come up. You can clear it and then tap on the microphone to speak in a date, and QromaFlip will recognize it and modify the date for you. Finally, if you have pre-stored specific locations, you can tap onto this map icon to pick it from the list, and QromaFlip will automatically fill in things like city, state, country, and GPS coordinates for you. If you don't have a pre-stored location, you can simply long press onto this map icon for 1 second or more, and this map will pop up. You can use the search bar to find a general location, and then swipe along the map to fine-tune it to an exact location. Once you've found the exact spot, long press onto that location, and a pin will drop, and then you can select it. QromaFlip will then automatically fill in the location fields for you. Once you tap Save, the metadata will be saved back to the TIFF file and sent through Cloud Sync. Finally, let's look at some of QromaFlip's advanced features that allow you to store frequently used names, relationships, and places, and then use them during the tagging phase. This is a great time saver, so let's get started. We start by going into the settings and then tapping onto Custom Settings. This interface will allow you to store names, relationships, and places. Let's tap on Names to get started. Right now I have an empty list, but I can tap onto this plus icon to start adding names. I can enter names in and then tap Add to accept them and then go on to typing in another name. When you're done, tap the Done button and you'll see the names that you've added. This is a great way to add a few names, but there's a much faster method that involves using your Mac or PC. If you have iCloud or Dropbox turned on, access the Settings folder in the QromaFlip directory and you'll see a file called names.txt. Open that file in a plain text editor and then you can type in or paste the names directly into this list. Just make sure you have a carriage return between the names and then save the document and you'll see the names that you've just added appear almost instantly in QromaFlip. Now I can use these names as presets in the Metadata Editor. Next, we're going to store some custom places that we can use later to tag very precise locations to our photos. Tap on the map icon and you'll see that I already have some listed here. Now tap onto the plus icon to reveal this map. I can use this search bar to enter in a well-known place or an address. Once here, I can swipe along the map to a precise location and then long press right on this point to where I want my photos pinned to. When I tap the select button, this location is now stored in my list and is available to me when I tag my images. Finally, let's talk about relationships. QromaFlip's natural language tagging lets you describe a photo naturally, and then we'll try to detect things like dates, places, and people, and then generate the appropriate metadata for you automatically. The Relationship Manager works hand in hand with this feature, so you can use familial nouns like mom and dad in your descriptions, and then we can tag the photo with that person's full name so that you can find them easier later. To start, tap this icon with the multiple people, and then you'll see this double field form. The first part of this field is for the relationship, and the second part is for the name that will get entered whenever we detect that noun. Now I can dutifully type into these boxes, but as we learned from an earlier tip, it's easier to do on my computer using iCloud. I'm going to pop over to my settings folder and then open a file called relationships.txt with a simple text editor. From here, I can start writing simple relationship sentences. I start with a relationship such as aunt, followed by the equal sign, followed by the full name, and then a carriage return. I can map multiple relationships, like dad and father, to the same noun simply by separating them with a comma, as in this case. I can also have a plural relationship, like grandparents, mapped to two names. All I have to do is separate the two names with a comma. Once I'm done, I just save the file and all of it goes back to QromaFlip. Now that we've added names, relationships, and places, let's see how it gets used. Here is the metadata tagging screen, and when I added this description that had a relationship in it, they'll automatically get tagged in the names field. I can also tap onto this name icon to see a list of my pre-stored names and then select any one that I want to use. Finally, I can tap onto this map icon to select from one of my pre-stored locations and then apply it to the photo. So that's it. It's just as easy as that. Storing names, relationships, and locations will make it easier for you to tag your photos later on. Now there's lots of other advanced features and tips I haven't covered here, so make sure to check out the full user guide to learn about all of them.